My Isekai life, I gained a second character class and became the strongest sage in the world, is an anime from the studio Revolroot. Out of their 5 other works, they're best known for I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. My Isekai life was directed by Keisuke Kojima. He doesn't have any other director credits to his name, but he worked on shows like One Punch Man and Kill la Kill, doing various levels of work. My Isekai Life is an adaptation of a light novel and manga of the same name. The story for both was done by Shoto Shinko, best known for creating the story for The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest. After working late at his job, Yuuji Sano falls asleep and wakes up in a fantasy world where he becomes an overpowered beast tamer / sage. He just kind of travels around trying to get by without attracting too much attention, although he wouldn't tell you he also stops calamities regularly. This is a pretty run-of-the-mill isekai experience. The guy shows up, kind of fish out of water, but is overpowered, and goes around doing cool stuff. The first few episodes feel a little dull. He does do some cool stuff, but I kind of expected that. Most shows like this will have a cool beginning arc, then kind of slump into mediocrity. This show did a good job of constantly upping the threats while simultaneously furthering the plot. There's something mysterious going on, and Yuji's trying to figure it all out. Yuji seems kind of aimless in the beginning. His main goal is just to get by unnoticed, which isn't super exciting when you're overpowered, but as the show goes on, he starts actively hunting down leads about a shadowy organization and stopping bigger and bigger calamities. But while he's still hunting down threats, he seems as apathetic about it all as when he would just run into threats. I think that's part of my problem with the show. Yuji just seems kind of aimless, apathetic, and unemotional, and kind of just lacking in personality. The show acknowledges this, but that doesn't make me like Yuji. I like Yuji most when he's exerting a lot of effort to stop a calamity, but he keeps a cool head. You wouldn't even know he's struggling as an onlooker, which is something else the show also acknowledges. People see him doing stuff with ease, which makes him think back when he would work in an office and people would see him working really hard just to give him more work. It's part of why he doesn't want to stick out. So I'll just close out this section by saying Yuji is an interesting character, but I just don't like him that much. His backstory meshes well with his behavior, but that behavior is just kind of bland. I feel like this show is missing some pieces. It's an adaptation of a manga that's been going on since like 2018. That means there's a lot of stories to tell and a lot of slower bits to cut out. How can I tell this if I haven't read the manga? It just feels like bits and pieces are missing. Not in a bad way, in a sort of, they could have easily told this story or given this flashback, but they didn't. For example, how Yuji ended up in this world and got his start is only given in flashbacks that amount to maybe like half an episode. There was definitely enough going on with his intro into this world that they could have told it in like 1 or 2 full episodes. There was also a lack of Yuji explaining how his powers work, and a lack of him experimenting and getting used to them. This is kind of a good problem to have, to be honest. Something that can make your world feel alive is when there are bits of lore and character background that are only hinted at and not fully explored. It makes the world feel alive, like there's so much going on. The creators are just telling a small, interesting story in a larger, interesting world. Sometimes shows will feel like they're kind of just making it up as it goes along. The classic example of this is when a concept is introduced and then immediately something is done about it, like a prophecy will be brought up and then immediately its effects take place. This show doesn't really suffer from that problem. It seems everything is planned out ahead of time, and I like that. Overall, I think the show was okay. It was fine. The main character was a little dull to me, but I enjoyed the progression of the story. I'll close out by ranking this show compared to all the others I reviewed based off my enjoyment. Out of 11 shows, this is like 7th best for me, above Recovery of an MMO Junkie, but below the Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. That's not great, but based off the MyAnimeList scores, it should be last place. Anyway, that's all I really have to say about this anime. Just one comment today. Peekaboo says, lol, the Gungus Bungus Blitz.
Look, he's using the Gungus Bungus Blitz.
Yeah, that might have been my favorite part from the Engage Kiss review. Alright, that's it for today's video. I've been Roman Romantic, and I'll see you again next time.